Now, I want to teach you something. And again, this sermon is not to make anybody angry. This sermon is because I love you and because I want you to understand these things so that you do not become victimized. Let me just teach you some facts about narcotics. Now, you say, are you qualified? I spent several months of my life for a living translating medical documents from German into English, and many of them, and these were leading magazine articles, studies explaining how these drugs work, and most of the time we were studying either heart medicines or narcotics. Those were the two things that we were specializing in when we were doing translating all this time. Let me tell you something about narcotics. Who knows what withdrawals are? Withdrawals are something where when you get off a drug, you will experience real pain when you get off that drug. It's not imaginary. It's not in your mind. It's not psychological. Withdrawals are real physical symptoms that can be measured physically. Let me explain something. Let's say you're in pain for whatever reason. Okay? You begin to take a narcotic to stop the pain. And by narcotic, we could be talking about Vicodin, we could be talking about morphine, we could be talking about codeine, or any of these type of narcotics that are pain-killing narcotics. And this is how narcotics work. Narcotics go to a part of your brain called the reward center, okay? And they trigger what's called endorphins to be released that stimulate the reward center of your brain to make you feel good. Now, these are addictive because as you continue to stimulate that reward center, it likes to be stimulated. And so the body wants more. So what will happen is someone will begin to take a drug like Vicodin or morphine or codeine. And as they take this drug, it takes away the pain. And they begin to feel good. Well, let's say whatever was causing the pain goes away. Now it's time to get off the drugs. Well, then what happens is people suffer from withdrawals many times when they've been on this drug for a long period. Now, what withdrawals will do, and the purpose of withdrawals, is that withdrawals will simulate pain in your body to make you think that you need more of that narcotic. So what will happen is people will feel pain, even though there's nothing wrong with their body. I mean, they have no injury, they have no wound, they have no illness, they have nothing sick about them, but their mind will make their body. I'm not saying that it's in their head. I'm saying that the brain will simulate pain in their body, and that they will actually feel pain because their body is craving drugs. And they'll say, I can't live without these painkillers because I'm in so much pain. But what they don't understand is that the pain that they're suffering is a withdrawal symptom from not taking drugs. They'll say, well, I got off the drugs, all of a sudden I was in all this pain, so I had to keep taking it. Your mind is playing tricks on you. And you're feeling pain because your body is craving drugs. Drugs are addictive. Listen to me. Narcotic drugs are addictive. It's a scientific fact. Morphine is addictive. Vicodin is addictive. Heroin is addictive. Opium is addictive. These are facts that no one will deny. And yet doctors give these drugs out many times indiscriminately, and people get hooked upon them, and they cannot get off these drugs. And they have horrible side effects. They'll destroy your health, they'll destroy your body, they'll destroy your mind, and people will take them and take them and take them because they're addicted. Look at 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12. The Bible reads, all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. Just because something is legal does not mean that it's right for you to use. Did you hear that? Just because something is lawful does not mean it's expedient. And just because it's lawful does not mean that you should be brought under the power of anything. Now, an addiction is when you're under the power of something. I mean, when you wake up in the morning and you must have a cigarette, and that is an addiction, and that is you being brought under the power of cigarettes. Paul said, I don't want to be brought under the power of anything. I want to live a life of freedom. I don't want to be forced by cravings to indulge in harmful habits such as smoking. Smoking is an addiction and is therefore wrong. Because Paul said, I'll not be brought under the power of any. He said it may be lawful. Cigarettes are legal. Alcohol is legal. Drugs are legal. But yet Paul said it's not expedient. And yet today we think that if a drug is illegal, it's bad. But if a drug is legal, then it's okay to take. Well, wait a minute now. Hold on. So is the government now the one who decides what's right and wrong for you? Do they? I guess when you're 12, that PG-13 movie's wrong. But when you become 13, now it's okay. When you're 16, that R-rated video is not for you. But when you're 17, now it becomes okay. You know, the government is not the decision maker for what's right and wrong in my life. I let the Bible decide what's right and wrong. And the Bible tells me, hey, I don't want to be brought under the power of anything. I don't want to be addicted to drugs. I don't want to be addicted to narcotics. And let me tell you something. If you're addicted to drugs right now, if you're addicted to alcohol, you say they're legal, they're prescription. If you're addicted to drugs, if you're addicted to alcohol, which is also legal, if you're addicted to smoking, which is also legal, if you're addicted to chewing tobacco or whatever else it is, you need to get off that stuff and say, I'm not going to be brought under the power of anything. My body's the temple of the Holy Spirit, and I'm going to keep it clean and righteous and for God's use. I'm not going to be brought under the power of a chemical dependency. And so drug addiction is a major problem in the United States today, and people are consuming drugs like you wouldn't believe.